It's very simple. And I will make sure I stick to time or even finish before time for us. So the business of the day, like I said, is what is project what is a project? What is project management? What is project why is project management important? The project management life cycle, because I don't want you to have a knowledge of tools without having the knowledge of what you need to use a tool for. So like I said, Moji did a good job, so I won't flog all of these too much. And one of the things that we also need to talk about today, which I also love talking about it, is a project management qualification or certification. Then we will now get into the business of the day, which is a project management tools and also popular project management tools. And I also heard one of the few last statement that Moji made earlier was about the introduction of AI. So I will definitely be talking about AI and project management since AI is a tool. And everywhere you go to now, it is all about AI, 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 AI. So we will be talking about that. All right, let me quickly introduce myself to you all. My name is Ayo, and my name is Ayo. But when you go on LinkedIn, you'll see my name is Ayo on LinkedIn, and I'm a program management professional. I'm a PMP Prince 2 practitioner, Agile certified practitioner, risk management practitioner, schedule professional, professional in business analysis, Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, as well as Project Plus from CompTIA and Masters in Project Management from Salford University. So in the past 16 years, I've moved around a bit, working, started my career in Nigeria with NNPC as a project support when I was a youth corper. Then from there, I've moved around from Carnegie LLC to British Petroleum to Vocalink, back to British Petroleum to National Grid to GlaxoSmithKline, GSK to British American Tobacco, BAT. To Princess Group, the food side of Mitsubishi. I've worked with National Grid. Again, I've worked with Finastra, a financial institution in the city of London. I've worked with BMI, in construction industry. I've worked with Oilback. I've worked with SBM Offshore, and at the moment, I'm on a project with Itachi Rail. So I've moved around a bit, and so I will definitely be using that experience in what I will be teaching today, and also making sure that that is reflected in most of the things I will be talking about. If you have any question or questions, you can always type them on the chat, and I'll always pick them up as we go along the conversation. So please just type it and I will pick it up and we will talk about it as I go along. Okay. All right. So let's get into the business. That's enough of me there. Let's get into the business. When we talk about project management, just like Moji spoke about, uh, uh, waterfall and traditional project management. So project management is quite simple. We know what a project is quite simple. It's any temporary endeavor you undertake to produce a unique product, meaning on a daily basis, you've undergone a project today. You've done a project today. If you have to reflect on that thing you've done, which is quite temporary, or it's got a time frame, a start and a finish time to that. It's temporary. You've done that today. You've produced something unique, different from what you did yesterday or different from what you're used to. So on a daily basis, we do project. We undergo project, we deliver project, we execute project on a daily basis. So it's all about nomenclature, how you want to call it. You want to call it, yeah, I'm attending this training. Attending this training is a project if we have to look at it, because it's got a start time and it's got a finish time. And what you want to get out of it is a unique product. You want to get something quite unique, something you've not learned before. So this is a project. And also you cooking your rice and all of that, yeah, it's got a time frame. You cooking your food, it's got a time frame. And that is a project if we have to qualify it in that regard. But when we now talk about project management is now the practice of, planning, because while you're coming for this particular training, you planned maybe when the invite was sent or when you saw the publication 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, you started planning yourself to say, you know what, every meetings I've got on a Tuesday night or I've got on a Thursday night, I have to push them aside. I have to get my laptop ready. I have to make sure I've got the best laptop to use and all of that. What you're doing is you're planning on how to deliver that particular project and organizing yourself. And at the end of the day, here you are executing that particular task to say, I will attend from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, and all of that on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Friday, on a Thursday. And resources, and you are putting in resources. Your internet, it's a resource. The internet you're putting in is a resource. The time you're putting in is a resource. The laptop you're using or the phone you're using, it's a resource as well to achieve specific goals within a defined time frame and budget. Okay, so that is what we call project management. So organizations will always embark on project. They always embark on something unique, just like Moji was talking to us about different types of agile project and traditional waterfall project. You will always get different kind of projects from organizations, and that is why this is a very, very lucrative career, because organizations will always undergo project. If they're not undergoing a project for transformation, they are undergoing a project for transition, they are doing construction project, they're doing oil and gas project, they are installing one application there, they are doing that there, they are constructing that road, they are developing that rail track, they are building that train track, they are several tasks you want to talk about where organizations are doing, and that task, it's a big task that can go for 10 years, that can go for 2 years, 4 years. So they qualify these as project, or sometimes they call it program. I might still talk about that. So you can see that on a day-to-day basis, organizations will always carry out a project. It's now dependent on whether they're using agile methodology or they're using waterfall methodology, or they're using extreme programming, or they're using Kanban, or they're using Six Sigma. It now all depends on whatever that is in that regard. All right. So what are the key components when we talk about project? Like I said, I'm not just whizzing through this because Moji spoke a lot about this. And like I said, if you have questions, make sure you type in there. What are the key components of project management? And as a project manager, or when you're using your tools, to work on projects, these are the key things that you are expected to use that tools, or to use all of those tools to manage. One of the things you want to quickly talk about as a key component of a project or a project management is a scope. A project must have a scope. A project is saying, you know what, the scope of a project for everyone on this platform tonight is, you know, I want to attend a training. And this particular training, I am going for the BA part of the training, or I am going for the agile part of a training, or I'm going for the cybersecurity part of a training. You've got a scope. You've told yourself that this is what I'm going for. Any other thing is an addition or scope creep or gold plating. Okay, but you've got that scope defining what needs to be done. What needs to be done. You've got that, and every project has got a scope. Okay, the next thing is a project must have a time frame. Okay, it must have a time frame. This particular project is 4 weeks. 4 weeks training from start to finish is 4 weeks. We're not saying, you know what, it's ongoing forever. The moment it says it's ongoing forever, then it becomes an operation. It is no more a project. Okay, so setting deadlines and schedules, that is one of the key things about project management. You know, project management will tell you for this particular task, this is a baseline for that. This is when we need to finish this, because if we don't finish this particular task or this particular work package, it will definitely affect the next one, or the next one can't start, or the next one can't finish. So you can see that there must always be time frame within a project. So that's a very, very key component, that a project must have a start time and a finish time. All right, Gideon is asking that, is it the only project manager that describes the scope of any project? No, the project manager only helps in refining or making sure that scope are documented. The sponsor will definitely define what the scope of the project is. So who is a sponsor? Let me quickly say that. A sponsor is whoever that is putting the money down or that is leading that needs that particular project. Okay, in an organization, it could be the CFO that is a sponsor. It could be the CEO that is the sponsor of the project. So he will be the one to tell you that this is a scope of work that needs to be done. Okay, so the project manager, he's just there to help in developing that scope. And when I get into methodology, like I said, I'm not going into project management. I will have gone further to say, even though it is not the job of for Prince 2, Prince 2 will tell you that it is not the job of the project manager to define or develop the scope. That is why we've got the BA. That's why we've got the business analyst to come in and do that for the sponsor, on behalf of the sponsor, to do that and dump the scope at the desk of the project manager to say, the project manager, this is the scope of work we want to do. So you can see the project manager will only put input into these. We don't always expect a project manager, but when we go into the PMBOK methodology, which is a PMI methodology, I'm confusing you now. You'll see a slide on that. That particular one is saying, you know what? Yeah, everybody should get involved in developing this particular scope. And that's why you expect a project manager to develop the scope statement and the likes. So for timeline, setting deadlines and schedules, these are key components of a project manager. One of the things that is key component to a project is cost. Okay, definitely a project. If you want to carry out a project, we must be able to manage the budget, because as a project manager, they are bringing you in, or as a project management professional, they are bringing you on the project, whether you're a PMO analyst, whether you are a PMO a lead, whether you're assistant project manager, whether you're a project manager, whether you are a agile delivery manager, whether you're a program manager, portfolio manager, they are bringing you in to come and manage all of these key components. We want to make sure you manage the scope such that if we say that we want to deploy or we want to build a tunnel, that is 4 kilometers long. At the end of the day, you're not building a tunnel that is just 3 kilometers long, because we're saying that a tunnel must be 4 kilometers long. So that is a scope of work. So we are bringing you in to make sure that you manage the scope such that there's no scope creep, neither is there going to be gold plating on the project. We're bringing you in to make sure that when we said that we will deliver this particular project within this particular time frame, we are able to deliver. So as a project manager, that is your job, to make sure that all of these key components are well managed. Same goes to cost. Another thing you need to manage on the project is quality. Okay, so in project management, quality is different from grade. Okay, when we talk about quality in project management, we mean two phrases, and that's it. We mean conformance to requirement and fitness for use. Okay, whether it is good grade or bad grade and all of that, that is actually none of your business. Your business is what is expected to be delivered, and that is what you need to deliver. If the scope of work is saying, you know, oh, this is being recorded. If the scope of work is saying, you know what, buy every of the product from Temu or whatever the name is, you need to make sure that you buy all of the product for the project from there. Whether the grade is good or the grade is bad, that is none of your business. The quality of the project says that the products that we will be using must come from that particular store. So you're conforming to requirement. That is what the project is all about. Conformance requirement is quality. Can we consider cost before scope because of limited budget? Like I said, considering scope as a project manager, as a sponsor, yes, you will consider that. You will consider your scope, you consider your cost. But as a project manager, no, you cannot really do that at that. But you can go back to the sponsor and advise the sponsor that based on the scope of work and the budget you have, unfortunately, we will not be able to deliver this scope A, B, C, D with this cost. So I will advise that you just go with A, B, and C. It is not your job to sign A, B, C, D, agree the cost, and then deliver A and B. What you've done there is what is called scope creep. Okay? All right. Next to that is resources. You, as a project manager or as a project management a professional, your job is to make sure that you're managing people, tools, and materials. Like I said earlier on, if they ask you to uh, buy stuff from this particular vendor, if that is a requirement, you have to make sure you meet that requirement. Okay, and you must manage the people. And at the moment, project management is, or all the project management methodologies or the project management frameworks, they are quite keen about people now. Before now, it used to be process before people, but everybody's now aligning that, you know what, we need to make sure that it is people before the process. Okay, so as a project as a project management consultant, the people is very, very critical. And that's why you can see that managing people is coming before tools, materials, and even processes. And this is where we talk about emotional intelligence, social intelligence, and the likes. For as a project manager, these are the key skills or competencies that you are expected to have, including the tools we will be talking about. All right. As a project manager as well, project management consultant, using your tools, you are expected also to make sure that you're managing risk, because in managing risk, you can use your Trello, you can use your Asana, you can use your Excel spreadsheet, you can use your Smartsheet, you can use your SharePoint to actually manage your risk. You can design your logs in all of these, and we'll talk about that later. So identifying, mitigating potential issues and all of that, as a project manager, you are expected to be able to manage risk as a key component within a project. And lastly, but not limited to all of these key components, but these are the 7 major components that you are expected to manage. If you look at Prince2 framework, or you look at the PMBOK methodology or Prince2 methodology or the PMBOK framework, these are the 7 key things that people, project management professionals, are expected to manage as a key component within a project. So the last one there is called stakeholders. Stakeholders, as defined by both framework and methodologies, is anyone that is directly involved with the work of a project, or anybody that can be affected by, whether negatively or positively, by the work of a project. Okay, I know that maybe most of the definitions we know is a stakeholder is anyone that has got interest in this particular project. No, so we've gone further to say whether the project is affecting this person negatively or positively, that person is still a stakeholder that needs to be considered whenever you're considering or you're listing out your stakeholders. And you can use your Smartsheet, you can use your Excel spreadsheet, you can use your SharePoint to actually list out your stakeholders. And communicating with those affected by or communicating within the project, managing the project sponsors, managing the project team, managing the artisans, managing everyone that is working on the project is very, very critical. And when you look at Prince2 methodology, I keep on mixing it, Prince2 methodology and PMBOK framework, you will see that there is a particular section within a chapter that talks about stakeholders management, because that is very, very critical. When you don't manage the people well, then you're bound to fail on that particular project, whether you're managing the sponsors or managing your peers or managing the people that are working under you. You must make sure that everyone is being managed, and you must understand who's got the power, who's got the influence, who's got the highest interest on this particular project, and you must make sure that all of these people are well managed. So that's why we call it key component of project management. All right. So like I've been talking about here, saying, why exactly is project management important? It is important for efficiency. That is why every organization out there, they want efficiency, they want effectiveness, they want to do things quicker. They want to make sure that they're not wasting time in doing something they can do for 6 months, for 2 years. So definitely they would employ project management in making sure that this is delivered so they can define what exactly is the scope of work we want to do. How long is it going to take us? How much is it going to take us? So for efficiency, project management is very, very important. Another thing that is quite important in there is it brings clarity. Project management brings clarity. So by the time you define what is the scope, by the time you define how much is going to take us, how long it's going to take, it brings clarity. You cannot understand that, oh, indeed, just like the question that Ayo asked, that can we consider cost before scope? The moment you lay all of this down, you have clarity to say, oh, we can't do A, B, C, D with this particular budget. We need to go back to the sponsor to tell the sponsor that A, B, C, D is impossible. We might need to descope. And when we say we need to descope, you need to get the approval of the sponsor before you can descope. You can't just go ahead as a project manager to say, you know what, let me do just A and B and dump the work and say we're finished. With that, you're not meeting requirements, and the project will not be fit for you. So we can actually as well call your project a failure at that point in time. Okay. Another thing to that is project management brings accountability, okay? Because we have people that are assigned to project, people that are responsible for project. And for some of you, you might have seen a particular tool or a particular language that is called the RACI, RACI, which is called, on a project, you have to make sure that you develop your RACI. RACI is, some people will call it Reiki or something, but it's RACI. You have to talk about who is responsible, who should be accountable, who should we consult, or who should we inform. So on your particular project, you want to make sure that you have that shown or that settled at the start of a project. It will evolve. This RACI will always evolve. It will evolve. But at the start of a project, you want to understand who is responsible to deliver this particular work. Who should we consult on this particular work? Who is accountable, or who should we inform? This is part of your stakeholders management as well. The moment you have all of these names or you have all of these people on your RACI, you can actually as well understand, how do I manage this person that is delivering this? How do I manage this person? And in the world of where we have virtual teams and people working across the world and all of that, then you need to make sure that we have an actual, some people might even call it a responsible assignment matrix. Sorry, resource assignment matrix, RAM. They call it resource assignment matrix or RACI. So you can see you might use it interchangeably in some case. So this is all about accountability. So it helps us to be accountable for this particular resource, to be accountable. It helps us to say, okay, this is where we have transparency. This is where we have on a project and the likes. Also, project management is quite important because it will always allow us to have risk reduction. And everything I'm talking about here, why it is important, and this is why it will be important for us to use tools in order to manage all of these six important points I'll be talking about. Risk reduction. Okay, for risk reduction, we want to design our risk log. You can use your SharePoint, Smartsheet, you can use your Rike, you can use your Basecamp, you can use your ClickUp and all of that to design all of your risk log, where we can define, okay, what does it mean when we say risk reduction? We need to identify the risk. Okay, I can get everybody into a room to say, you know what, get registered on Miro, or get registered on Mura. I'll show you all of that later on. Get registered on Mura, get registered on Miro. How many people do I have online today? I've got 96 people. And I say, you know what, get into there. I want us to have a brainstorming session on our project. Our project is to make sure that we vaccinate 1,000 children with the help of USAID, even though Trump has crashed that now, to make sure that we vaccinate 1,000 children every month in Congo with the help of USAID. And that is a work we need to do. So we now need to look at, okay, what are the risks involved? What are the risks involved in this particular project? How do we identify the risk involved? Getting the 96 people on Miro and say, you know what, keep brainstorming, keep identifying risk. You can say, oh, the risk of not getting visa to Congo. Oh, the risk of not getting funds released again since Trump just canceled USAID. The risk of that. So you're identifying all of the risk you can think about. And whenever you're doing your brainstorming session, so I'm talking about this now, I don't need to talk about it when I get into Miro as a tool. Whenever you're doing all of these, you're doing this brainstorming session, you're typing, you're putting all of the things on the Miro board. On the Miro board, at this point in time, no point is silly. No point is silly. Everybody's just dropping it. So when we now talked about identifying potential risk and early and helps mitigate, what we can now talk about is what exactly is the probability of this particular risk occurring. This risk you've mentioned, Wilfred, this risk you've mentioned, Gabriel, this risk you've mentioned, Olawale, this risk you've mentioned, Lola, what exactly is the probability of all of these risks happening? We can now start saying, oh, yeah, it's a low probability, it's a high probability, oh, it's a medium probability. Okay, if it should happen, what exactly is the impact? Oh, it's a low impact. Oh, no, I don't think it can happen. I don't think the impact is even low, it's very low. So what we're not doing is we're not doing risk analysis. We're not bringing them down. So that is why it is important in project management for risk reduction. Risk management is a key component in project management because it helps us, it opens our eyes to reduce risk and also to make sure that we can deliver the work when we need to deliver the work. All right. Another thing that project management will help us to achieve is improved communication. When I start showing you those tools tonight, you will be seeing how most of those tools are all about collaboration, communication, collaboration, communication, collaboration, communications, because that is what it is all about. There is even a school of thought that says that a project manager or a project management professional communicates 90% of his time is used in or 90% of his time, of his or her time is used in communicating. Whether you're writing, whether you're typing, whether you're doing that, whether you're conducting training, whether you're conducting requirement gathering, whether you're doing all of that elicitation, BA people will talk me down if I should call it requirement gathering, requirement elicitation. And you can see all of that. It's all about communication. You're approaching people, you're talking to people, you are engaging with people. That is communication. And a project manager is said to be spending 90% of his time just communicating, whether you're doing body language, whether you are writing, whether you're speaking, training, and all of that. So communication is very, very key. It's one of the important key features of project management. And lastly, goal achievement. It ensures that projects are completed on time, within budget, meet quality standards, and making sure that it is fit for use. So you can see that these are just just 6 out of hundreds importance of making sure that we engage in project management. And you will agree with me that most of the organizations, if not all, wants to make sure that they achieve these 6 things that I have in here, which makes you very, very relevant if you really want to jump into project management as a profession. All right. So I won't talk about this at all because this is exactly what was spoken about earlier on. It's about the waterfall, the hybrid, the agile, like what Moji said. A lot of organizations are now going through the hybrid way. Hybrid is some organizations will call it Wagile. That is what they call Wagile. And some of those things, you know what, these are project management methodologies. I know that Moji spoke about Agile and Waterfall. We see how what we call the Kanban, the Scrum, the critical path, the extreme programming. Sometimes we can say Prince2 is a methodology, but Prince2 falls more under the Waterfall sometimes, and also the Lean Six Sigma bit of it. All right. So on a project management, when we talk about the Waterfall piece, Moji spoke about this, so I'll just whiz through this one as well. We're talking about, what, on any project you want to undergo, you have to initiate the project. You must initiate the project. You must plan the project. How do we want to go about it? You must execute the project. And also you must monitor and control the project. And at the end of the day, you must make sure that you close out your project. So closing out a project is saying, customer, come. This is what you ask us to do. Can you verify? Yes, it is. Let's sign it off. Thank you very much. Do we have lessons learned documented? Yes, these are all the mistakes. These are all the successes. These are all the things we did on this particular project documented. Boom, have that. Give us our certificate of completion of this particular project. And all of that is done. And everybody is happy, or everybody is going to the court to sue each other. But we need to close out the project at some point of the project. Okay, so like I said, Moji spoke about these two slides, so I won't dwell on it. While we're talking about project management, agile, hybrid, traditional waterfall, ROP, UML, whatever methodology you want to think about, there are a few project management certifications that, I always advise people to get if you're coming into the project management world. It is very, very advisable for you to have, because what that would tell the people, the recruiter, or will tell the people, the hiring manager, is you are in line with the global. You're in line with the global way of doing things. Okay, the global way of doing things. That means you've opened yourself to reading, you've opened yourself to researches, you've opened yourself to acquiring knowledge. So I always advise people to do that. For people with 0 to 1 year experience, you can always go for Prince 2 Foundation, or you go for the Certified Associate in Project Management, or you go for the CompTIA Project Plus. Okay, you go for CompTIA Project Plus by CompTIA. It's called the CompTIA IT Project Plus. If you have 1 to 2 years experience, yes, you can do practitioner. You can do practitioner. CAPM is still very relevant for you. If you're going into the Scrum or the Agile way, you can do your professional Scrum Master 1. Okay, advisable. Then if you have 2 to 3 years, 2 to 4 years experience, you can do the Certified Project Director. You can do the Prince 2 Practitioner. You can do the Professional Scrum Master 2 or 3, 2 or 3, and then you can do your PMP. Okay, you can do your PMP in this particular regard. And also, if you have more than that, you can do your PGMP, which is more of the program stuff. And also, one of the free ones you have on Coursera is the Google Project Management Certification. You can all Google that to see how you can get into that on Coursera. It is very, very good. It is detailed. It is comprehensive. It is good. It is good way to start. Okay, good, very, very good way to start when it comes to project management. All right, let's get into the business of the day. And I've got 4 slides to go through in the next 10 minutes on that. All right, when we talk about project management tools is most of us are quite familiar with some of these tools. Okay, project management tools. Word document is a project management tool. Excel spreadsheet is a project management tool. PowerPoint is a project management tool. Google Docs, and Google Sheets and all that. They are all project management tool. Gideon is asking, is this application for software experience or both physical project? And no, it is for project management. It's not whether it doesn't say whether it is technical, whether it is digital, whether it is software. It is project management methodology or framework, because project management in a construction industry, I'm not talking about the technicality behind it now. Project management in the construction industry is project management in the IT world. It is project management in the oil and gas. It is project management in the financial world. How we tweak it to that particular project we're working on. And that is why one of the key principles of Prince 2, and the major principle of Prince 2, and the last principle of Prince 2 would tell you, tailor to suit the project environment. Okay, that's a very big phrase from Prince 2. Tailor to suit the project management environment, meaning we need to make sure that this particular Prince 2 is tailored to whatever you're doing. If you are running a road construction, tailor it to road construction. If you are running a construction of a skyscraper, tailor it to the running of a skyscraper. If you are building a ship, tailor it to the building of ship. If you are delivering a software project, tailor it to software project. Okay. All right. So for project management tools, we have loads and loads of project management tools. Okay, that I think we'll go through 17. I'll just wish through 17 tonight, so that when you get yourself out there and you can see it and YouTube videos, there are free versions of some of these tools. You can always register, download, and start, practicing and start using, because this will always help you. I've been in an organization where, I just kept saying to myself, how can you be a project manager and you don't know how to use a simple SharePoint, or you don't know how to use a simple Teams, or you don't know how to use, PowerPoint and all that? Yeah, and trust me, I have seen project managers without those knowledge. Okay, so project management tools are software applications designed to help teams to plan, organize, track the progress of their projects. These tools provide features like task management, scheduling, collaboration, and reporting, dashboards creation, teams creation, document controlling, versioning, and all that. Different tools within different organizations. Okay. So what are the common types of tools that we'll be talking about today? We'll talk about a tool for task management tools, task management tools like Trello, like Asana. You can always get free version of Trello. You can register for the free version of Trello. It's more like a Kanban board, majorly more like a Kanban board, where you can use your labels and all that. You can plan to do what is to-do list, what is exactly is in progress, what exactly is at risk, and all of that. You can use your Trello or Asana to do that. It helps teams to organize and prioritize tasks and all that. And I'm sure that on this particular project, you'll be using one of those. You might not be using Trello or Asana, but I believe you'll be using Azure DevOps, which is very, very similar to what you have. And some of you that have used Jira before, they are very, very similar to that as well. Jira is quite complex a bit, because Jira will tell you about the tickets. You can use that to write your user stories and all that. But while this one is just prioritizing, organizing tasks. Then you have your Gantt charts, beautiful Gantt chart. You want to track progress of the work you're doing. You want to track progress of all the activities you've assigned to people. You can always use MS Project. You can use Smartsheet. You can use Clarity. You can use Plan View for some of those. Visualize project timelines and dependencies. You can use that for dependencies. If I have 10 minutes, I might show you 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 or MS Project tonight, just to show you how that works in 5 minutes. Okay. Then we have collaboration tools. For collaboration tools, some of you have heard about Microsoft Teams before. You've heard about SharePoint. You've heard about Slack. You've heard about 𝐂𝐿𝐶, Smartsheet also. Smartsheet is for Gantt chart also. Smartsheet also is a collaboration tool. Okay. Confluence is a collaboration tool as well. And I'll be showing you some of those time tracking tools. We've got Togo, we've got Harvest. This is used in Calendly. You can use it to diarize or diarize your work or your meetings and all that. And we've got the resource management tools. Okay. Then let's get into each of these tools in detail. The first one I spoke about is the Trello. For Trello talks about the Kanban boards, the task cards, the simple drag and drop interfaces. So Trello is used by teams to make sure that they organize what exactly they are doing. It's more like a board. It's more like a board you put in your house. You can put a board on the wall in your house to say, okay, this is our to-do list today. This is what I need to do today. This is what we've completed so far in the last 1 week. So you can see when you have an agile team, yes, like Azure DevOps. I just said it. Yes, exactly like Azure DevOps. Even though Azure DevOps will go further to talk about tickets for defects and all that. Trello is still in the build of that. So you can see you can use your Trello as Kanban board, task cards, simple drag and drop interfaces. Say, you know, I'm dropping. We've moved from to-do list. It's now in progress, or we're moving that in we're moving that in progress to now at risk. So you can always move things around with that. Let me give me 1 minute to see if I can get it out. No. Yeah, I was running a training on Trello today. I can't find my whatever again. All right, so that is that. And another one is Asana. Asana is looks similar to Smartsheet, okay? Because you can have your task list like your Kanban board. You can have project timelines on it. As for some of you on YouTube, you must have seen some of these adverts in the past coming up. These are project management tools, okay? Like I said, I've got close to like 16 in here. If you can master 2 or 3 out of these, and you can master them all by yourself, you will definitely be a good to go to. If you're a BA, most of the tools I have on my first page, as a BA, you should learn most of them, because this will definitely help you out. And as a project manager, yes, you as a project management a professional, whether project manager, staff project manager, project planner, PMO support, PMO coordinators, PMO supervisor, project support officer, and all that, you need to learn some of these tools. Okay. Next to that is Monday.com. This is so popular. The publicity of these guys is really, really top notch on YouTube. They're everywhere. Monday.com too is a very fantastic tool that has got everything in one. It's a one-stop shop of, you know what, time tracking, Gantt chart, customization of workflow, meaning workflow in the sense that, you know what, I want to move from this particular point. I've developed a document and I need someone to sign that document. I don't need to print the document out for this person to sign. I can say, you know what, I want Lola, Polari, Olawale, and everybody to review this document. And when they review this document, we can use version controlling on that. We can as well just get things done. We can get things done on that. And at the end of the day, it goes to wherever it needs to go to. And we have a sign off on the people without having to physically print some of these things out. And also you can create your dashboards. You can create your dashboard on reporting. Where are we? What are we doing? What do we need to do? You can always create your dashboards with that, and you can automate things to say, you know, when anybody updates this particular task, I want to receive an email. Or you can say you can be a pain. It can be a pain in the life of your team members, like I always do, to say, you know, I just had their emails to task. So when the task is about to be due, they start getting emails. Or some of them will get email. The moment I assign a task to them, they start getting emails immediately, and they can get 1 million emails from me to say, you know what, yes, that task is about to, and it's not me, it's been automated for them to always receive that email so that I can always get updates. At the moment the update is done on that particular task, I will always get notification as well to say, you know what, update has been done on this task. Another guy that is Slack. I'm sure most of us might be familiar with Slack. Slack is for file sharing. It's for real-time messaging. In recent times as well, people are using it for collaboration, for documentation as well. Is that Slack for documentation, real-time messaging? You can always use that to communicate with people. You can as well use it for file sharing as well. Okay, so as a project management professional, these are great tools you can always use. These are great tools you can learn. These are great tools you can use or introduce to your organization, or introduce it to your project whenever you undo project. For me, as for an agile project, this is always my go-to tool. Jira is my go-to tool. It is a fantastic tool. Okay, fantastic tool. And I won't talk about Jira without talking about the brother. The brother of Jira is Confluence. You know, Confluence is a collaboration tool as well, while Jira is used in managing agile projects. You can track issues if your testers are working and you've seen defect, or your BAs are documenting user stories and all that, or they are writing their epics and all of that. They can always do all of these in Jira. They can write the epics in Jira. From epic, we can move into the user stories, and all of these can have that child, can have another user story, can have another child, and all that. You can have that tracking methodology in Jira, and also you can track your issues. If you are defect during testing, you can log it in. You can use it for your, remember I was talking about risk reduction or RAID log. Then you can design your risk log. Also, you can design your risk log also in Jira. And also for Confluence, you can use your Confluence for documentation, for collaboration, for document controlling or version controlling in Confluence as well. And you can design your dashboard or your reporting in Confluence as well. Okay, and so sometimes when you use Jira, when you use Confluence, and you want to use Trello, it's owned by the same company. Jira, Confluence, and Trello are owned by the Atlassian company. They're owned by the same company. So it will always look quite similar whenever you're doing that. Wilfred, can you please, what is the scope of earning as a project manager? Okay, I don't have a slide here, but I can always speak into that. Okay. Yeah, one of the tools as well is Smartsheet. I love this tool as well because this tool, it's more like a combination of Jira and Confluence together. For Smartsheet, combination of Jira, Confluence, and maybe MS Project. In a way, a little bit of MS Project combined together. So you can see you can use your resource management. You can do your resource management in Smartsheet. You can do your Gantt view in Smartsheet. You can do your site customization processes and the likes in Smartsheet as well. And you can do your MS Project is used in planning. For project planners, this is one key tool you must always have at the back of your pocket. And while I'm talking about almost all of these tools, guys, if you learn some of these tools, this might be the only thing you have, and you're being headhunted everywhere because you know how to use all of these tools, especially MS Project, Jira, and Confluence. Smartsheet for few organizations, but you see Jira, Confluence, MS Project, and some of the tools I'll talk about. If you learn them, you can become 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓, and you're very, very good with that, as well as Excel. Yeah, I shouldn't forget that. You can always be an 𝐂𝐎𝐿 in the market. Dependency management, detailed reporting in MS Project. Then we have a new tool that came out, is Planner. Planner is like Trello. So Planner is like Trello that Microsoft just brought in a few years ago. I think it was 7 or 6 years ago. It's more like it's like Kanban board. It's like Kanban board as well, but it's a sophisticated Kanban board where you can have different labels, you can filters, you can do all of that within that space as well. It's called the Microsoft Planner. You've got the SharePoint, the big boy in the room. Most organizations are using SharePoint. Most organizations are using SharePoint. So if there is one thing you want to learn, it is how to use SharePoint. And it is very, very easy to use it. There are different videos online where you can get an introduction to how to use SharePoint. It's a collaboration tool, project, automation, is linked to Word document, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Power Automate, Power BI, and all of that. All of that can be linked to SharePoint to make sure that the workflow is really, really good. All right. So ClickUp, this is another tool that came out a few years ago. It's a beautiful tool. Let me just put it that way. I like it. I like it so much because it's got everything you're looking for. It's a simplified MS Project. MS Project might look complex, but when you look at ClickUp, ClickUp is fantastic. Reporting in ClickUp is fantastic as well. The document controlling in ClickUp is fantastic. The use of artificial intelligence, AI, in ClickUp is also fantastic as well. So this is another tool you can learn. There are free version of that. When you register, you've got free version of it. It's got an application on your phone as well that you can always use on your phone to schedule your task, to save your document, to collaborate with your team, to chat with your team as well. Then we've got another big boy in the room, which is called the Primavera P6. Primavera P6 is used by the construction and the engineering industry for planning. If you learn P6 and that's the only thing you learn, you know how to use, you can become a big boy in the market as well. So Primavera, it's a project planning and scheduling resource and cost control tool, majorly used by the construction and engineering firm, oil and gas firm as well. They use that a lot. It's a very, very good project management tool. Okay. Then when we talk about process mapping, the first three guys I have there, Visio, Miro, and Lucidchart. They are very, very good tool for BAs, for delivery managers, for project managers, for project management professionals, because this is used in mapping process. They are process mapping tools. If you know how to use these three as well, you are very, very good. Miro, it's for idea generation. You can use Miro for idea generation, but you see Visio and Lucidchart, they are good tools for process mapping. If you get into an organization as a BA and you're trying to look at the Aziz and also you're trying to define what the to be will be, one of the best ways to design your Aziz is to use a process map to say, okay, the process you have at the moment or the system you have at the moment, this is the way it flows from here to here, from here to here. You can't just go on your black and white paper to start drawing. You should use Visio, you use your Lucidchart to do that. It will definitely bring it to life, make it look good, and all of that. Rack is another tool that looks like ClickUp or Basecamp, looks like a Monday.com as well. It's workspaces. You can create different workspaces on different projects, cross-tagging, time tracking, and for resource management as well. Then you have a new one that came out recently. It's called the Zoho Project. Zoho Project also is more like, it's more like ClickUp, but it doesn't have the AI integration yet. Okay, you've got Gantt chart, resource management, document management, and also it's got the detailed dashboard reporting. You can create your dashboard on Zoho Project as well. Few organizations are using it, but like I'll tell you, the ones that are popular and the ones that was the one that was asked earlier was what is called the Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps is Azure board, looks like Trello, looks like Jira as well. Agile planning tools. You can do your dashboard. You can use workflow customizations on there, and you can always use that to plan your agile project properly. But I'll tell you, let me go back. Let me go back to tell you the ones that are quite popular that you know what you should spend more of your time on. Okay. I would advise you to spend more of your time on Trello, Monday.com, Jira, and Confluence. Spend some of your time on Smartsheet, MS Project, SharePoint, ClickUp. That's almost everything, right? If you know you really want to go into planning, that is when you should concentrate on Primavera. But if you're not going into planning, there is no point concentrating on Primavera. But if you know you want to become a project planner or project engineer, you should go into Primavera and learn how to use Visio properly. And that's it, really. And sometimes you can use your Miro. Miro is very, very simple to do that. I've got 6 minutes left. All right, said I'll speak about AI and project management. Okay, so this is a chart I found quite interesting. And I'll quickly look at the chart at the bottom there that says 17.3% is the expected compound annual growth rate. So annual growth rate is 17.3% for the AI in project management market. You can see, so we expect every year there will always be that financial growth every year when it comes to AI coming into project management. And they took a survey and 82% of senior executives can see that AI will have a significant impact on project management practices within the next 5 years. They can see that impact already. They can see, you know what, it's going to make life very easy. And a lot of people are scared that, oh, will AI get my job and all of that? But the way we are seeing things is going to make life very, very easy for us because like what Moji was talking about earlier on, you can use I'm not sure if it was Moji. You can use AI to pick up your meeting minutes, do all of that now. It makes life quite easy for you. But while you're doing that, be careful within your organization. Some organizations are actually preaching against using AI because of the moment you put the organization's information on it, it can be accessible by anybody and all that. So they're always quite wary about that. And 93% of organizations that have implemented AI for project management have reported positive return on investment over the past years. So you can see 93% of organizations that have implemented AI within their project management scope have actually reported a positive impact. So that is the way to go. AI will help you instead of getting your head on how to take your minute, how to analyze a particular document and all of that. A 16-page document that a BA needs to analyze or a project manager needs to analyze, you know what, you can always put on AI to say, summarize this for me, get the key point out for me and all of that. And instead of wasting 5 hours reviewing a document, it's got a point for you in 10 minutes. You can review that in 1 hour and you can save yourself 4 hours of work. Okay. So you can see for AI assistants, you can use your ChatGPT, you can use your Coin 2.5, you can use your DeepSeek, you can use your Gemini, or you can use your Copilot. For meetings, you can use your Otter AI. I use Otter AI a lot. It's really, really good. But while we are saying that, I need to put the best practices in here. The best practice to prevent data leakage, data anonymization. Make sure you remove client-specific details whenever you're putting information on the AI as a project management professional, okay? And also make sure that you limit data input into that. All right, so that is it for me for today. If you have any question, let me know. Any question from anybody, you can type it or you can come off mute if you have to.